I don't think Khamzat Chimaev's going to be getting the next title shot in the middleweight division against Sean Strickland, and there's so many reasons why that I want to break down to you guys in today's video. As much as Dana White, as per his interviews that he's been doing recently, really wants Khamzat Chimaev to get the next title shot, I just don't think it's possible. And believe me, Dana White really wants Khamzat Chimaev to get this title shot, because I feel like Dana has now got a personal vendetta against Dricus Du Plessis for not being willing to fight not at 100% and injured against Israel Adesanya, so Israel Adesanya can win. Strickland stepped up, beat Israel Adesanya. The UFC's plan massively backfired. Now Adesanya's going to be sitting out for a while. I think Khamzat Chimaev's going to end up fighting Adesanya next. And I think Dricus might actually get his title shot now. Many reasons as to why. So first of all, we know Khamzat Chimaev fought Kamaru Usman, allegedly hurt his hand. It was allegedly until now I kind of feel like it's the truth. We've seen so many times he's talking about his hand injury. It's pretty bad. I saw a headline today about a suspension that he was going to have to fill out and he's not going to be active for a while. So I don't think Dana's going to now all of a sudden go, we'll wait 6 months and hold up the whole division so Khamzat Chimaev can get the next title shot against Sean Strickland. And by the way, how is that in any way fair? Khamzat's injured after a fight with Usman that was a title elimination bout. Oh, it's okay, Khamzat. You heal up nice and quick, dude. We'll pause the whole division and wait for you to get your title shot. Dricus Du Plessis gets injured in his fight against Robert Whittaker and the training camp beforehand as well. How dare you not fight Israel Adesanya whilst injured and basically destined to lose? Because let's face it, that's what they were trying to do. That's what they were trying to do. They made that fight 6 weeks. They made Whittaker versus Du Plessis. They made it 6 weeks before Israel Adesanya was already set to be defending his belt on the Australia card 6 weeks later from the fight at UFC 290 between Whittaker and Du Plessis. And I know they did this. I can't prove it, but I have a sneaky suspicion that they did this so that they could get the winner of that fight not at 100%, so Adesanya could beat the winner of that fight, so Adesanya could then fight the winner of Pereira versus Prohaska at light heavyweight, and they can make them big pay-per-view buys. I have a feeling that's what they were going for. Absolute Chad Sean Strickland steps up on short notice and ruins all of their plans. I think Dricus is going to get his shot. Khamzat Chimaev is injured. He's going to be out for 6 months. They've got events that they need to book at the start of next year. January, February, March are often the weakest cards of the year. Normally you get around the middle of the year and the end of the year where we get these massive pay-per-view cards. But other than that, normally the first quarter of the year is always the weakest out of all of them. But Canada's looking pretty good in January. Then they've got February and March that they need to fill out. And they've got an active champion who's willing to be active in Sean Strickland and a rightful number one contender in Dricus Du Plessis. Khamzat Chimaev's going to have to sit out. Another thing happened with Khamzat Chimaev as well that I want to break down in this video. He was officially ranked in the middleweight division today. Now, I was thinking, I don't know about you guys. I don't know where you guys were guessing he would be ranked. I was thinking that maybe Khamzat Chimaev would be ranked at like number 5 in the middleweight division, number 4, because the way they were speaking, like, he's got to get a title shot next. I was thinking, you know what? Maybe they're going to put him above Marvin Vettori. What has really Marvin Vettori done well recently? Lost to Cannonier, lost to Whittaker dominantly, got schooled by both of them. Beat Delizzi in an iffy decision as well, and Delizzi was a much lower ranked guy too. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe they're going to put him above Marvin Vettori. Maybe, just maybe, they'll temporarily put him above Cannonier or something along those lines, because Usman is a really good win. If he had beaten Costa, maybe it would be a bit different, but Usman's a really solid pound-for-pound win, so I feel like maybe they'd put him at number 4 or 5. They've put Khamzat Chimaev at number 9 in the rankings, and you know for a fact that Dana White is now immediately annoyed at those rankings. I thought he had some control in those rankings. I now no longer think he does, and I think he's going to have something to say about those rankings in an interview in the near future. That's all I'm going to say about that. I bet you he's seething with the fact that the MMA media has put him as number 9 in the UFC rankings, because he's basically thinking to himself, You've just ruined my chance of giving him a title shot. I can't do number 9 versus the champ when there's number 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They didn't even put him above Jack Hermansson. That's how the media was feeling. They woke up and chose violence against Khamzat Chimaev and put him at number 9 above the likes of Brendan Allen. You know what I'm saying? So they really have put him quite low down the rankings. I would have put him at number 5, above Costa anyway. But I get it. He doesn't really have a relevant win in the middleweight division. And these other guys in the rankings do have relevant wins in the middleweight division. And he didn't beat a middleweight. He beat a welterweight on short notice. I don't think he's going to get the title shot now, man. I don't think the UFC, rightfully so, can market number 9 versus the champion of the division when they've got number 2, Dricus Du Plessis, coming off a win against Whittaker by TKO. We got to get up in arms about this. He fought Whittaker and won by TKO. With Chimaev getting injured after his Usman fight. Oh, sit tight, Chimaev. We'll get you a title shot as soon as you're ready to go, baby. Okay. You heal up good, okay? And then we'll coddle you into a title shot soon. But with Dricus, it's like, how dare you not fight Israel Adesanya injured? You're ruining our plans to have him beat you, basically, is what they were doing. So I think they're going to do Chimaev Adesanya. And Dricus has got to get the title shot now. I also want to talk about another thing in this video as well. Another big point here. Sean Strickland don't want to fight Khamzat Chimaev. He's been very open about not wanting to fight Khamzat Chimaev and saying how undeserving he is. And I agree with him. Like, if Khamzat Chimaev would have went out there and demolished Usman in that first round and got a finish, maybe there would have been a part of me that was like, you know what? It's unfair to Dricus. It don't make any sense. But he destroyed Usman, and he's uninjured, and he's ready to go in January. Get it out of the way, and then Dricus can get his shot afterwards, or something along those lines. I probably still would have been annoyed about it, but still, that's not the case. But a lot of people are going after Sean Strickland, because Strickland is saying, you didn't deserve it, you didn't this, and you didn't deserve this, and people are saying, well, you didn't deserve it either. Well, it's a very different situation, isn't it? They had a number 1 contender in Dricus Du Plessis. Cannonier is not going to get the title shot. I know that he's good and he's beaten Strickland before, but at the end of the day, he's boring, okay? Not in fight style. His fight style is actually quite fun. But unless you want to hear someone snort 50 times during a 10-minute interview, you don't want to listen to Jared Cannonier speak. Every 10 seconds in an interview, he does that. And it just puts people off the interviews immediately. Oh, wow, did you found another crystal that wow, dude, that one gave you good manner, did it? Really, really interesting interview, dude. Seems like a nice guy at the UFC. We're never going to go with him. They went with Sean Strickland for the title shot because there was no other option at the time. Dricus was injured. Oh, yeah, Adesanya's a champ. Cannonier just lost to Israel Adesanya. Strickland was coming off a win. He was willing. They knew he would sell the fight. They went with Sean Strickland. Completely different situation to right now. They have an abundance of people they could choose between to give the title shot to. Cannonier has beaten Sean Strickland. Dricus Du Plessis is he just beat Whittaker by TKO. I don't know how I'm having to make this video sometimes. He just beat Whittaker by TKO. Roberts Whittaker just went out there, not fluked it. I said fluke because I was salty my prediction was wrong. But in hindsight, it's not like he caught him with one punch the whole fight. He was beating Whittaker in the fight. Round 1, he won round 1. It was pretty even. Whittaker might have been out tit for tatting him in the first 3 minutes and a half of the first round. Dricus head and arm throws him to the ground and beats him up on the ground a little bit, cuts him open with an elbow. Dricus wins round 1, wins round 2, winning round 2, catches him with a shot and TKOs him up against the cage. Like, he's getting the title shot. 100% he is. This is not the same situation as when Strickland was called up as a short notice replacement. It's not the same situation at all. This is Chimaev being ranked number 9 now at middleweight. Never beating a ranked middleweight before in his life, by the way. Never beaten a ranked middleweight before in his life. Number 9 in the rankings. Injured. Not able to go until maybe 5 months from now at best, I would imagine, if he's actually broken his hand or broken his wrist or in any way fractured something. I doubt he's going to be ready to go until maybe at best, at soonest, March. If they want Strickland on a pay-per-view in January or February, Dricus is the option. And for Khamzat Chimaev, now we've covered all that up and got through all that and we've covered that stuff. Khamzat Chimaev and the rest of the middleweight division. What happens now? Because you've got Cannonier fighting Dolidze, but he just spoke about the fact that he couldn't step in to fight Khamzat Chimaev because of an ACL injury or an MCL injury. So I'm thinking to myself, well, you got a fight with Dolidze coming up. What's going on? You know what I mean? Are you pulling out of that one, or are you just going to be healthy enough to fight by the time that comes around? Maybe it's worth putting some money on Dolidze. That's a bit of a tell. But you've got the rest of the division. People are talking about still booking the Costa fight. I don't think Chimaev's earned a title shot if he beats Paulo Costa. If he beats Paulo Costa, he'll be ranked number 5. And there'll still be guys like Cannonier, if he's coming off win over Dolidze, as a top contender. What I think they do is they jump the gun. They do Paulo Costa versus... They might book the Whittaker fight. What I think they're going to do is make him fight an up-and-comer because he's being punished at this point for pulling out of so many fights, I think. They might have him fight Hermansson. Hermansson ain't fought in a long time. Maybe they have him fight the winner of Brendan Allen versus Paul Craig, which is coming up soon. I reckon Whittaker's going to fight the winner of Cannonier versus Dolidze. I can see Marvin Vettori getting a fight against a Nasruddin Imavov or another up-and-comer in that middleweight division. I see them doing Khamzat Chimaev versus Israel Adesanya, and I see them doing it as the co-main event of UFC 300. Do they want to feed Israel Adesanya to Khamzat Chimaev knowing the style matchup is terrible for him? Probably not. But I don't think they're left with a choice. They either run the risk of potentially losing both of Israel Adesanya and Khamzat Chimaev against individual different matchups. Maybe they do Chimaev-Whittaker, but I think Whittaker's going to want to get back in there pretty soon. They either run the risk of losing both Israel Adesanya and Khamzat Chimaev on their comeback fights, 2 different contenders in the middleweight division, but the gamble that both of them would win, or they just call it as it is and say, you know what? They're both contenders. We could lose both of them here. Let's guarantee one of them. And that's what they might do. And they might just say, Cannonier, what's that? Sorry, you want a title shot? And they're just not going to give him a title shot whatsoever, no matter what he does in the middleweight division. I bet they're hoping for Dolidze to win, so they can do Whittaker-Dolidze next year and stall out that whole thing even more. Hopefully Whittaker beats him and he's only on a 1-fight win streak, so then we have him fight the winner of Paulo Costa versus the winner of Brendan Allen versus Paul Craig, and they go off on that whole thing to just really efficiently stall out the division while they give the winner of Israel Adesanya versus Khamzat Chimaev to the winner of Dricus Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. Have I broken down this situation adequately? I think I have. I don't think I was repeating myself too much. I think I covered every point there. And I'm not going to go any further because I don't have to. Give Dricus his title shot! He beat Whittaker! What? Yeah. What are we doing? He went up, beat Brunson, beat every contender you gave him. Up the rankings, up the rankings, up the rankings. Time for your big break. Oh, they're feeding him to Whittaker, everyone was saying. Why would they do this? Just make the Dricus Adesanya fight. That's what they were saying. Why would they do this? Because they were trying to get Dricus or Whittaker injured for a fight with Adesanya so he could go up and fight the winner of Pereira versus Prohaska. You know it. They want Pereira to beat Prohaska. They wanted Adesanya to win against Strickland or whoever. And then they wanted to do that matchup for a super fight. Adesanya Pereira 3, 2 belts. His second chance to go up a division. Pereira just beat Blachowicz, who Adesanya lost to. It's even more hype. That's what they were trying to do. Jamal Hill got saved out of all of this because I think he actually might get a title shot upon his return. So, yeah. See you later. Thank you for watching. Toodle Pip. Goodbye. Du Plessis Strickland. Now! In January. Co-main event. Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera 2. February. Hear me out. Maybe then you do Volkanovski versus Topuria. You do that card in Australia. You also do Whittaker versus one of the winners of these upcoming matchups in the middleweight division. That's also a thing. JDM versus Jeff Neal can be a feature fight on the card. Bunch of other Australian talent that you have. March, Islam Makhachev versus Justin Gaethje. whatever you want in terms of a female title fight on the co-main event. Who cares? April, McGregor-Chandler main event. Co-main event, Israel Adesanya versus Khamzat Chimaev. Take money for pay-per-views. Goodbye, Toodle Pip.